I think we're going to hear now from Barry Williams. He is an eyewitness. He saw the incident and he describes in this next interview how one of the cyclists who was on the ground actually got up and chased the car. Here he is talking to our home editor, Mark Easton.
Well, I heard a commotion and turned round to see a silver car heading towards the cyclists on the wrong side of the road. They were parked waiting for the lights to change. He hit the cyclist, then swerved over towards where the safety barrier is, where the police make sure cars get through, and accelerated and hit it at quite high speed.
What was your impression? Was it a deliberate act?
Well, he seemed to. I wasn't sure whether he meant to hit the cyclist. They may have just been in the way, but he accelerated hard towards the barrier.
And what was the reaction of the police at that point? What did you see?
Well, the police were very fast. They vaulted over the safety barrier and head towards the car, followed by obviously lots of armed police who were in the area. What also happened was the police started to do a cordon. Not only did police come towards us, the police actually headed away to try and block off people walking towards us.
And what about the car? We saw video of armed officers encircling that vehicle.
Well, it's strange. When it hit the barrier, of course, there was a lot of smoke, and it hit it with quite a jar. It actually came off the ground and landed again, because it's quite a light car. But we're not sure. It's, they rushed to the scene, grabbed the bloke, but then they seemed to walk away.
And what about you? What did you do?
Well, obviously we were pushed back. After the police first got to the car, they then turned around and started to push us back towards where the lights were. And that's when I walked past and saw lots of pedestrians and standing there, but also the cyclists. There was a few on the ground. Some were holding their arms. There was bikes everywhere.
And what about at the moment of the collision? Presumably, given events here in Westminster in the last year or two, a frightening moment.
Well, it was frightening, but that's why I was walking backwards, not actually standing too close to the car. You never sure what's in the car.
And there's a scene on the ground. The cyclist. Can you give us an idea of the numbers? The scene at that set of lights where the cyclist had been.
Well, there was about 10 cyclists waiting for the lights to change. I don't think he hit all of them. He hit about 4 or 5, and there was bikes everywhere. I was very impressed. One of the cyclists got up and started to chase the car.
Good heavens.
Yes. There was one laying on the ground which was being treated, and 2 or 3 were just sitting there holding their arms against posts and stuff.
And what was your sense of the motive, if there was one behind this? Could it have been an accident?
Well, if it was very strange, because once he hit the cyclist, he accelerated. You'd have thought he would try to put the brakes on, but he swerved across and accelerated towards the barrier.
Unless he was trying to get away from the scene, perhaps?
He was a very bad driver then.
And as someone who's worked in Westminster for a long time, you would of course have been around during the Westminster Bridge attack last year. What was going through your mind when you saw this incident?
Well, it looked like an attack. It was a fairly feeble one because it was a small car, but it did look deliberately to drive out the barrier.
And the reaction of the police at that point, I mean, obviously this area has an awful lot of armed police at all times, and it does appear that they responded very quickly and in numbers.
They did, and also it seemed well rehearsed. As I said, police ran towards the car, but also some ran away to actually stop people walking towards where the car was.